Hello and welcome back to the channel. Okay, I've not been around for a couple of weeks. I've been away and just busy doing other stuff basically, and not had time to get some YouTube videos out. I've still been gaming, of course, but just not had time to put the time in for the YouTube videos. So here is my roundup of the news. So Sony plans to port more first-party PlayStation games to PC. Yes, dawn of a new age. I called this all over a year ago. I said this would happen, and a lot of people have been hating on Xbox for it. And but it seems like PlayStation are going to continue to follow suit. PlayStation are also going to start porting more of their games onto PC. Sony is planning on porting more of its first-party PlayStation games over to the PC in the future. It has emerged. This nugget comes from the firm's corporate report for 2020, in which Sony wrote, "We will explore expanding our first-party titles to the PC platform in order to promote further growth in our profitability." That's the key word there, which I've been saying from day one. Profitability. This is what both companies care for. Xbox, PlayStation, Sony, Microsoft. Profit. They're in it for the profit. They're not in it for you gamers. They're not thinking, oh, we don't care of losing money as long as the gamers are happy. No, that's not what they think. They obviously want to make you happy by giving you decent games to play, so you invest into their ecosystem, so you buy their games, because at the end of the day, selling games makes the profit, and selling games makes more profit than selling consoles. And Sony, to keep up with Xbox, are going to have to put their games onto PC, because it's just a wider market and you sell more games, multi-platform games. Sell more games and make more money than exclusives. You can argue all day long that, oh no, blah blah blah, like God of War sold 15 million copies on PlayStation, but if it was also on PC, it probably would have sold 20 million copies and made Sony X amount more money. And this has probably been proven by, as I said there, in Horizon Zero Dawn. It sold X amount on PlayStation, but it's limited. It can only sell to a certain amount of people on PlayStation. So they've obviously reached that limit. They've seen the sales drop off, blah, blah, blah. So they thought we'd drop it on PC, and then it's made more money. More people have bought it on PC. And I see people in my friends list, which you can see on Xbox, playing it on their PCs. So this is a great thing. Well done, Sony. I'm going to commend Sony on doing this, not listening to their gamers that are just, I don't know, they're very narrow-minded, very small-minded. They're only thinking of themselves. Good on Sony for pushing for this and putting their games on PC day one. We don't know if it's day one yet. I reckon they're going to eventually do that day one, because, or they might even narrow it down to maybe 6 months or a year after release. I don't think they're always going to leave it 3-4 months, because that's still going to give Xbox the edge as their day one. Xbox will still, especially with cross-platform games next gen, Xbox has got a much bigger market from launch than PlayStation, a much bigger market space from launch than PlayStation. It probably has got a much bigger market for the first 2 years than PlayStation, because PlayStation is not doing cross-streaming titles and Xbox is. So it's going to have its games releasing on Xbox Series X, Xbox One and PC, whilst PlayStation will only be releasing its games on PS5 as exclusives. And we know there's only going to be 10 million at most PlayStation 5s in the first year of the console. So that means it's a maximum market reach of 10 million units. That means they're probably only going to sell at most 5 million. So everyone's talking about Spider-Man selling millions and millions and millions. At most it can sell 10 million, and not everyone on that console will buy Spider-Man. That's a fact. No console has ever sold 100% of its market reach. Even on Switch don't sell. Like Breath of the Wild didn't sell to every single Switch owner. It didn't sell 50 million copies. God of War, as good as you all say it was, didn't sell 110 million copies. So these are the facts, and that is great news for Sony. Well done, Sony. I'm going to commend them for that. It's great that they're going forward. Interesting enough, there is quite a bit of flip-flopping around this whole thing. For example, this knucklehead is just one of many YouTubers that have that took up the stance that games going to PC is bad for the business. I mean, look at this is what I wrote here: Game Pass on PC. Okay, so PS Plus is on PC as well. I'm not sure his point there. Game Pass on PC, yeah, it's good. That's why it has 10 million subscribers. Best hardware PC, okay, yeah, okay. Best online with they way it's been okay. What the? More first party devs but producing subpar games and they play best on PC. Okay, that's not true at all. Xbox got nothing. Not buying a PS5 means you miss out on amazing exclusives. Not buying an Xbox, well, that's not true, is it? Not buying a PS5 doesn't mean you miss out on anything because the games are going to PC now. So this is when he was, like many, I'm actually going to name some people. Crap Gamer. There's so many. Actually, I could go through the list. Can't be bothered with them, to be honest. But there's so many people that have said they've quit Xbox, or Xbox is worthless because the games are going to PC. There's no reason to own the console. But the issue with chatting shit, of course, is that you get banged. Because here he is now after this announcement, have no issues with Sony putting more PS4 games on PC. And there we go, and there we have it. It's completely against it and completely says it's pointless buying a console if your games are on PC. And now he's all for it, like many of them are. Oh, it brings more revenue in for Sony, so it's good. Oh, okay. Does it not bring more revenue in for Xbox, so it's good? No, that wasn't a thing back then. No, it wasn't. No, it was irrelevant, was it back then? Exclusives matter. And now it doesn't. Revenue now matters, does it? Okay, so Xbox were right ahead of the curve, and you're just a silly, salty fanboy, basically, wasn't you? So I think I will leave it there, and shall we move on to the next topic? Yeah, let's do that. So a lot of media, as always, were jumping on the PS5 bandwagon. There's been various people like Forbes, who I disdain as well. I just like them. Various sort of pro-Sony sites that are clearly pro-Sony, and the Metro in the UK is no different. They make a lot of negative Xbox news and PlayStation 5 news, and sort of twist sort of the truth, or are just a bit misleading with the information. So I'm going to give, like, Reece said that they've done a poll, a survey of over 3,000 pop culture fans. 3,000, a survey of 3,000, that's massive. I'm pretty sure there's more than 3,000 people in the UK. Or even 3,000 gamers in the UK. So they've done a poll of 3,000 gamers in the UK, and 84% said they prefer PS5. Now, 84% of 3,000 is roughly about 2,500. So 2,500 people prefer PS5, and they thought that was news. I probably could have done a poll and got more people to go with it than that. But they thought they would run with this news. Well, a poll was held at Gamescom the other day. PS5 loses to Xbox Series X in Most Wanted Tech Award at Gamescom 2020. Right, so Gamescom, don't know if you've heard of it, it's quite a big deal. It's probably the biggest games show on the planet. It lasts, I think, for a week, I believe, a few days. Yeah, and anyone that's into gaming basically watches it or goes to it. So they've done a similar thing as Metro did, but slightly more than 3,000 people. I think this sort of includes several million people. And they voted Xbox Series X was the most wanted tech, despite a lot of media saying nobody cares for Xbox Series X. Everyone wants a PS5, and then giving their sort of silly little polls of like them and their mate decided it. So a recent poll showed that Xbox Series X was most wanted tech, and PS5 was actually not nominated. So we go on here. I mean, there's been to and fro between. I mean, they keep saying everyone's on PS5 side. Nobody likes the Xbox Series X, which is more sort of fabrication, more lies. So far, gaming analysis and industry insiders are split. They've just said it. Are split on which new console they prefer. Earlier this year, Epic Games engineer Nick Penwarden praised the PS5 as a masterpiece of system design, having utilised Sony's new console to develop the visually impressive Luminum in the land of nanite Unreal Engine 5 tech demo back in May. Meanwhile, Valve president Gabe Newell expressed a preference toward the Xbox Series X during an interview on the New Zealand talk show The Project, earning the Microsoft System Series credibility among fans of the Halo Half-Life Mastermind. Of course, it will only be everyday consumers that determine which new console will hit the ground running this holiday, and yesterday's Gamescom 2010 awards may have offered a clue as to which one people will spend their hard-earned cash on. So this kind of absolutely debunks everyone's theory that nobody gives a poo for Xbox Series X and everyone's after PS5, and it debunks everything they're saying. The gamers are all on the side of, or the majority are on the side of Xbox Series X at the moment, or at least that's the people that watched Gamescom. That's not the entire planet, which a lot of people seem to give a generalisation on. They will do a poll of 3,000 people and just sort of estimate that everyone in the UK decided they want a PS5. It was just 3,000 people. Actually, factually, 2,500 odd people wanted a PS5 in the UK, which holds quite a few million people. So yes, to round it up, there was actually several nominees, which also included the Television Amico and the cloud gaming as well. So Xbox Series X knocked them out. PS5, as I said, wasn't nominated. A lot of people claiming now it's rigged. Oddly, though, they don't believe the Game Awards is rigged, even though Jeff Keighley hosts it. Jeff Keighley is pro Sony. Jeff Keighley continuously takes digs at Xbox and makes massive jokes about Xbox and Game Pass for some reason, like a complete div. And yes, and he even shows up in PS4 exclusive games. But yet they still think that's a fair show, unbiased, but they claim this is rigged. Oddly enough, it just seems odd that people just switch sides, as I showed previously in this video. The way people just flip-flop around like that, this is interesting. So I think I've exhausted that. Let's move on to the next bit of news. Fairly newly formed Xbox Studio, The Initiative, has just recruited some more people. So Xbox Initiative hires former Naughty Dog, Respawn, Crystal Dynamics and Bungie devs. They just seem to be continuously growing. And in recent news, they're not only working on a Perfect Dark-esque game, not necessarily Perfect Dark, but a game very similar to that. And the way I've seen it being described, it's almost like in the Splinter Cell vein, sort of kind of that kind of game, which is going to be a stealth, sort of more stealth game. It still could be Perfect Dark, we don't know. Or it could just be, they sort of hidden it, it still just could be in the same universe. So that's interesting, but there's also other hints, which, have I got it here? No. Someone at Xbox said they could possibly be working on more than one title, The Initiative. And I wouldn't be surprised because of the amount of people they're recruiting so far. The Initiative and studio head Daryl Gallagher, via his linked page, has announced 16 recent hires that have joined the developers. The list of hires include former so we know basically who those people are. So yeah, the Initiative seems to be growing, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're working on more than one title. We've got Rare that just are still working on Sea of Thieves and throwing out free DLC for that. They recently dropped Battletoads, a fun little project, while they work on Everwild. We've got Ninja Theory that dropped Bleeding Edge while working on Hellblade 2. We've got Obsidian that are working on, I believe it's them working on Wastelands 3 while, or was that in Exile? I can't keep up. Basically, their studios are working on more than one project each. They're sort of making a little sort of fun project, which sort of, doing a fun project basically, and then they're doing a AAA project. It's just to keep the games coming. They just want to keep feeding you games, and then they want to keep you interested in Game Pass. So you buy Game Pass, much like how Netflix works. They want to give you a game service. You get to play these games for just £100 a year, for example. These games would normally cost £40, £60 each. You're getting them for £100 for the year. You basically pay them. It's a running cost. It's called. They get a running sort of revenue of money, a running stream of money. The devs then know that they can look ahead because you can make these calculations, so you can see that they're going to make X amount of money regardless of what game they drop down, more or less. Not to say they're going to release rubbish games that people think they're going to release rubbish, because they want these games. It's exactly the same as selling the game for £60. No dev's going to purposely make mundane, terrible games. They still want you to buy into Game Pass, and they're not going to do that by releasing nonsense games. They need to get you in, much like Netflix. So Netflix started that small, and it grows and grows and grows, and now it's Netflix. Who isn't subscribed to Netflix? Let's be honest here, people. You can complain about services and I want to own my games and stuff, but you all subscribe to Netflix. You'll watch their shows. Why? Because they're good quality. Was it always good quality? No. But has it got good quality? Yes. You've got some of the best quality documentaries and series on there now. They're getting some of the best quality actors. You could say AAA actors. Massive A-list actors are on their thing now. You've got loads of Robert De Niro and things all going to Netflix now and doing TV shows, regular TV shows you would not have seen 10 years ago now. You would not have seen 10 years ago. You'd only see them in movies, and now these movie actors are now moving on to TV series because there is more money involved in that than the lump sum movies where you just go here, blob, have that, and you've got X amount of money, the end, full stop. This is revenue. Services are just bringing more revenue because every time someone watches your movie, I've got a friend that's an actor. He's starred in various. Well, actually, sounds like my cousin. He's starred in things like EastEnders. If you're in England, you know what that is, or maybe in America, you possibly know what it is. He's played in. He's on stage a lot with Warhorse and Harry Potter. And it's a revenue. Every time someone watches your show, even EastEnders now, if someone watches it and he's in it, even though he's not in it anymore, he will still get a money. He will still get, it's called a royalty. This basically works a similar way. Every time someone downloads your game, you get money. You get money. You get money. Even if you're not working on the game anymore, you get money. This doesn't work so as well for games that are physical and not on a service, because really, when games drop off, they just drop off and they become cheap. And yeah, and they just drop off the system. When they're on Game Pass, you'll find you'll go on Game Pass and you'll go, well, I want to play Halo Infinite. Let's say that dropped. While you're scrolling through it, you'll see other games that could be 5-10 years old, and you go, wow, that looks good, or I've never played that, or I've always wanted to buy that, but I didn't buy that because I didn't want to spend 60 quid in it. And then you'll download it. The moment you download it to play it, whether you like it or not, the moment you download it, the devs will get more or less a royalty. That's how game services work. But I've sort of run off there, I digressed there a little. But basically, here it is for you in writing. Jeff Grubb confirms. Confirm is a loaded term. I said it, as Randall419 points out. It might not be exactly a perfect dark, but it's planned in that universe. So it's all very interesting. I can't wait to see what they're working on. I reckon it's going to be a major title. And yes, as he says there, they're shrouded in secrecy, and they are. We've heard nothing about them, which is very interesting. I reckon they're really going to wait and just drop just something massive. That's why it's shrouded in secrecy. It could be even a massive title which they really want to keep back. I don't know. Ideally, personally, I would like to see them be working on Rise 2 or the Scalebound project again, as they renewed that a couple of years back, the license for that. But I never played Perfect Dark games. They're in Game Pass, I believe. But I'm not a single player gamer, so I probably won't play them. But I'm looking forward to, it says there, secondly, Microsoft's Phil Spencer teased earlier this year that what the initiative is working on could be tied to something that is old, and Perfect Dark definitely fits that bill. So we still don't know if it's Perfect Dark. People are just speculating it's Perfect Dark. It could be an entirely new game. Could be something further back than Perfect Dark. It could be anything. Xbox has had a massive array of exclusives over the history of Xbox. It could be a great number of games. But anyway, that's just fantastic news. Let's move on to the next subject. So, the final bit of news. Fans might feel bad about this PS5 release issue. So, recent bit of news come out that not all PS fans would get Sony's next generation gaming console at the same time. According to a new report, initially fans believed that PS5 would have a simultaneous global release. In the recent claim is to go by, it looks like some fans would receive the gaming system ahead or later than others. Basically, the PS5 is not looking to be released worldwide. It's going to be in select countries, in regions outside the US and Canada. The site states that the PS5 version of the upcoming game is scheduled. It goes on to Call of Duty. But yes, basically, Sony Interactive Entertainment President Jim Ryan previously said that PS5 would release simultaneously all over the world. The latest information shared on Reddit, while disappointing if true, is quite reassuring. It simply proves that PS5 is still releasing this year and will not be delayed. So yeah, it's still going to release this year. Still, it won't possibly be delayed, but it most likely won't be worldwide day one. So I'm going to leave that bit of news there for y'all. Tell me what you think in the comments below about all the subjects I've talked about. What do you think about if you're in a country and it possibly won't be there day one? Are you going to buy the PS5 day one? Are you even going to buy the PS5? Please put in your comments below. Please like and share. It all goes towards the channel. I'd love to get at least 500 subs before the end of the year. It doesn't seem possible at all. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.